No, it's okay to have a terrible day. Just try not to have a terrible week or life.
For sure.
This day is not going to be my week or month or life. Just balance.
You give me butterflies, you give me butterflies, you give me butterflies. You give me butterflies, you give me butterflies, you give me butterflies. Open me up like a cocoon.
We'll get started with your upbringing in music.
Okay.
So I remember reading about you and or listening to like a podcast that you were on or something like that.
Yeah.
And you were saying that like you grew up in a musical household, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was that experience like?
Like the first memory I could say that I have of like music in my home was, or just music in general. I would say it was through my brothers. Like I have one brother who he sings and he plays the guitar and he plays the piano, and then another brother who's a producer.
Okay.
So it was just always like in my home, and then my mom, she was always like forcing. It was always like soul, like Motown vibes, like in my
Okay.
house. So that's just what it was.
When I like first heard your music and stuff, it reminded me a lot of like Erica Badu and like neo soul kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring that up is because nowadays that style is not like trendy
Yeah,
and like popular, I
for
guess.
sure.
How do you like market that sound to like the new generation of like listeners?
Honestly, I would say like, and it's so crazy because 8 months ago, like if you asked me what kind of music I make, I would have definitely said like neo soul, soul R&B. But
Right.
now I feel like, which I feel like is common amongst like artists, is feeling like I have to be this singer, like I have to be a pop singer or a blues singer or whatever. But now I just feel like which I almost didn't want to before, like I never wanted to say I'm an R&B singer because R&B to me has like a visual when you think about it. That's how I felt. But now I don't even consider myself like a neo soul artist. I just create vibes,
make music.
like
Yeah,
create
enough.
bops, like. And if you want to call that like alternative R&B,
Right.
then sure. But I do agree because I've been asked that before too. Like, how do I feel like a song that's has that neo soul vibe will like translate in 2023? And I think, and I could be biased, but like to me, neo soul is not dated. Like it's not, to me, it's timeless, or like the elements of neo soul that everybody loved, which was like comfort and warmth and just like coolness. That's not dated to me. So I like to take those things from it and make it my own.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Okay.
Yeah. Keep the vibe.
Do you, I guess, like kind of adapt your sound to the market then, in a way, like a little bit, or do you try to adapt more of like the market into your sound?
I feel like when I started to do things that way, creatively, I was like slumped. Like I couldn't write. Like I'd hear beats and I'd be like, yeah, these beats aren't for me. But realistically, I was just like stuck for a certain period of time because I had that mindset. I'm like, okay, I have to fit this box, and this is the lane, this is the market. I have to fit that, and it left me. Yeah, I was stuck for like a few months. So, no, I feel like I can't make music to fit. Like this lane, I just have to, I guess, kind of recognize or view it or acknowledge it and see where it fits with me and make that packageable.
Okay.
Basically.
So what's your songwriting process like then?
Um,
Like say throughout the year, if you just come up with ideas, are you writing them down, or is it just out of nowhere, the whole song pours out and you write it?
I'd say most commonly it's I come up with like maybe not even always, but maybe a hook, and I'll always record it on my. I used to write it down, but now I always record it into my voice recordings.
Okay, yeah.
Because just so I can't forget like how I said it, melody, like whatever, nothing, and I listen to it. Like I'll take it later on in the night, and then I'll finish writing to it. But that has kind of screwed me over sometimes because I don't write most like naturally to a beat. So it's like I'll have this whole song that I'm like I need a beat.
Right. Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
I'll hear it in my mind,
Mhm.
like, or the idea in my mind. But yeah, I never, probably 90% of the time, that's how I write. But the other 10, like, there are times where, like, I'll hear a beat and
Mhm.
it goes, but 90%, like, that's how I write.
Okay. So you have like the
Yeah.
melody and like the words first, and then the
Yeah.
beat second.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so irritating sometimes. So irritating. And that process can be, it can be annoying.
Mhm.
But I think even like when I was younger, I was like YouTube beats. On that every day. Like I was like I was always like Summer Walker type beat or like somebody type beat. So
Right. Right.
I think even though like people will tell you like don't go for a YouTube beat,
Mhm.
or obviously like you'll have certain obstacles with the YouTube beat, or not even an obstacle, but like there's a process.
Right. Right.
That's kind of something that I feel like helped me or could help somebody else too in terms of like writing to a beat instead of
Mhm.
backwards. But
Right.
yeah,
Another passion of yours is modeling. Yes.
kind of sort of, kind of
Kind of,
sort
sort
of,
of.
kind of sort of.
So I don't know how serious like you took modeling and stuff,
Mhm.
but is there any like similarities that you found between the music industry and like the modeling industry?
I would say because I started to record music like 2021.
Okay.
Um, but I think the part that which is why I even said kind of sort of, it's not that I feel like the part that I really did like about modeling or still like was like thinking of that like a theme
Mhm.
or just like creative direction. So I think that kind of like fed that in me before I was recording
Right.
because
Right.
I was never into kind of just like I don't know. I don't think I could ever do like runway modeling or um, just showing off and just just figuring it out.
Right. Right.
Yeah, like I was always like, oh, I want like an
This
idea like
aesthetic and
red and then this and that. Like I wanted it to be a whole thing that where you looked at it and it was like captivating, you know? So I think that also translates into music.
so you just like to be structured pretty much, huh? Like if you're gonna create something.
Not even I wouldn't even necessarily call it like structure. It was just like I don't know, like I would see pictures wherever, like online, social media, wherever, and I would save it. But I'm not use it as inspiration. But it wasn't
Mhm.
because necessarily like, oh, the model looks good or she's pretty or something like that. It was just like there's something behind this. Like, you know,
Right.
like it was just interesting. So
Right.
yeah, that's the part that I really like about it.
Another thing that you're into is like affirmations and quotes and stuff. What has been?
It's funny. It's true.
Yeah.
It's
Why is
true.
it funny? Why is it funny?
No, because everybody
Everybody
like
says that, or
everybody used to get at me. They're like, how come I don't see you like post? I used to post them every single day.
okay. Yeah.
It was just funny that you brought that up. But yeah, I have
No,
to
see,
spread some love,
I went through like
positivity.
your IG highlights and stuff, and I seen a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of them. I was just like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
and my whole little highlight.
what's all good though?
That's funny.
Have you found that there's been like an impact on like your life due to affirmations and stuff?
I wouldn't necessarily say like due to affirmations, but I would say like due to keeping um a balanced like
Mhm.
mindset. And not even necessarily because I feel like toxic positivity is a thing.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
always gonna stand on that. You know, I believe it,
Okay.
but I think yeah. So not necessarily like affirmations, but always remaining balanced. Like not being too high, not being too
Mhm.
low. Like remaining balanced. Even through my posts, like I used to post like there's always a positive in everything, or remain positive throughout da da da, or like don't let them see you frown. I was like, fuck all that. Like, I swear.
Yeah, yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm just like, no, it's okay to have a terrible day. You
Yeah.
know, just try not to have a terrible week or life.
Mhm.
That's just that's what I told myself.
For sure.
Like this day is not gonna be my week or month or life. You know,
For sure.
just balance.
No, definitely staying like neutral, staying
Yeah.
like level. That's big. Like
Yeah.
I just remember that was when I was coaching on
Mm-hmm.
Monday. I
Mm-hmm.
was helping one of the kids like shoot
Mm-hmm.
after practice and stuff. and like his dad was watching him, so every
Yeah.
time he missed, he started like freaking out and getting really upset because
Mm.
like obviously like his parents
His
watching him,
dad,
it's a
yeah.
weird dynamic, right?
Yeah.
So then after his dad walked away, he started hitting every shot, and then I talked to him afterwards. I'm like, bro, like I get it,
Mm-hmm.
but just try to stay neutral because like if you miss and then you get frustrated, you're gonna miss the next one.
Yeah.
And then same thing, if you make a shot
Mm-hmm.
and you act like you won the championship, you're probably not
We
gonna be. You're gonna lose
balance.
your focus, right?
Exactly.
So
Not
no,
too
that
high, not too low.
for
It's balance.
sure, for sure. I want to talk to you about performing.
Okay.
So on one of your highlights, I read that your first performance was like pretty hectic or something, and like it didn't go to
Oh my
plan.
gosh.
So there wasn't enough content on it for me to understand what
Oh
happened. So if
my
you could
god.
explain like what the story was behind that.
If I wasn't so like hysterical that day, that would have been an interesting day to like film.
Right?
Because people would just laugh. And then they'd be like, how did this happen?
Okay.
So it started, I was getting my hair done.
Okay.
And we were almost finished. Like we probably had just like finishing touches to do. And her flat iron, like it just turned off. And I'm just
Okay.
like that happens. Like maybe it's just like a flat iron or the outlet, like let's change outlets. And then it just like wouldn't turn back on. And then like a minute later, all the lights in my house turned off. And I'm like, what is happening right now? And then we looked outside because you could hear and kind of see like wind was starting and rain was starting. And I'm like, what's happening? So we look outside and it was like out of like Jumanji. Like it was just like wind and like dirt and I don't want to say trees, but like wind and branches.
Okay.
like flying in one direction. I'm like, whoa, like it was crazy. Like Jumanji. And it lasted probably like 4 minutes. Like it wasn't long at all. It was just like and then it stops. But I'm here thinking it will like once everything like stops, the power will come back. We'll be fine. Because after I was doing my hair, I was gonna go to this lady's house and she was gonna do my makeup. Because it makes my first show. Like I'm trying to go all out. So and then the lights never came back on. The power didn't come back on, but I'm like, okay, it's fine. So I'm driving to her house and the the street lights are not working. And I'm like, okay, again. And I was going, like without all this happening, me getting to her house would have taken me maybe 10 minutes. But with street light stuff, whatever, I remember it took me it was like 28 minutes, like call it 30 minutes. And we were all in the same area. So it's crazy. So I get to her house and I also didn't have service. I didn't have service. Damn. So it was just like, but we had a time and everything, so I'm still gonna show up. So I get there. He's like, oh, like, are you okay? Da-da-da. I'm like, yeah. Streets are kind of bad, but it's whatever. Like, I'm here. And we started working. But again, it's hard for her because her house it's dark. It's pitch black. And like she had her phone with a flashlight, whatever. We made it work because luckily it was still in the day, so we were by a window, so we still had a sunlight. Okay. Whatever. Got that finished. I drove back. I think I drove back to my house to get somewhere or whatever, and then I had to make my way downtown. It took me, what was it? It was like an hour 55 to get downtown. So, and part of me believes it was longer, you know, but I would say an hour 55. And it was just nuts because in the road it's like one tree and then another tree and lights aren't working, street lights. So you're just like going to a light, stop, going to another light, stop. And I'm just like, this is crazy. So I missed sound check. Super missed it. Like I got there, like the show started at 8. I was there at like 8:30. And sound check was at like 6. I was there at like 8:30. Whatever. I was just stressed because how all that went. But I knew I was practicing with a coach for like 2 months. So I'm like, I know I'm ready, but I still wouldn't want to miss sound check. Whatever. But I got on stage and it's probably like top 2 like best shows I ever did. For real? Like, yeah, it was so crazy. That's good though. It was so crazy. And I'm like, even on my way there, I'm so dramatic, but I was like, I'm driving, I'm like, God. Oh my god, this is for me. Like, am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be going to the show? Because I'm like, there's no way that like it's
Right.
like the apocalypse the day of the show.
I know, that's hilarious.
So, but then I got there, did the show, and it was like it was amazing. Like it
Right.
was so amazing, and that's when I knew I'm like, maybe this was all just testing me. Maybe it was a
Right.
test to see like how hard I would go and how much I wanted this. Because for the next 5 days, I had no power at my house.
Oh shit.
But I was like, I did my show, so I don't care.
What year
But
was this? 21 or
this is
22?
last year.
Last year?
You don't remember? But people got it differently
yeah,
though.
so like, yeah, okay. There's a few times when I remember like different things. That's why I can't remember exactly. Like I remember in like 2022, I drove to Oshawa, and all the lights were out. So every light was a four-way stop.
That's what I'm saying.
That's probably that day.
It was amazing.
That's
It was
good.
so-
You mentioned you had a vocal coach for that
Yeah.
for like a few months.
Yeah, it was like I'd say at least like just under 2 months.
Mm.
I would say she made me like feel more confident in myself. And the day of the show, she was there before me, obviously. And I got there. Everybody was there for me, but I got there, and she was just like, "I know it's okay." Like, and we were just practicing outside. So I was just like, oh. I felt comfortable.
Okay. So. You pulled a Lauryn Hill.
Bro, Lauryn Hill's ridiculous. She's ridiculous.
No, I'm just playing.
But it's okay. No, actually,
what?
I was the last performance. Oh, so okay. The show started at like, it was like I was late for the show, but like I
you weren't really
technically
late.
Wasn't really late, you know? Like,
yeah. If anything, you were kind of early.
If anything.
So the vocal coach that you had, I looked on her IG like before.
Yeah.
And
Crystal.
She has like some, they might not be unconventional to you, but just from what I thought vocal training was, it looked like unconventional like exercises in a way to me.
Okay.
From the outside looking in. So is there anything that you were surprised with going into that? Or if not, then like just maybe walk us through the process of vocal training at the time.
I would say I was surprised about my lack of breath control.
Okay.
I think I just assumed that like I've done musical theater, and that's a lot of like projection. Like I just assumed like I'd be okay. I'm like, I got this, I'm good. But then like an exercise that we did often was singing while either like doing a jog or a fast walk. Okay. So and that's like
that sounds hard.
Like, oh my god. Like I started, I'm like, whoa, like I'm out of shape. Like I don't
right.
It just shocks me because I was like, I always knew about like singing on the treadmill. And then obviously you're gonna assume half the time you can't breathe on the treadmill. You're like, you can't sing, but you're like a walk or a jog, you could do it. So that at first shocked me. But it just made me like realize I have to work hard, work harder at that. So even in the gym, like we practice at the gym, and we're doing that at the gym. So yeah.
Right. I know. I was gonna ask you that next, actually. Like, because you're really into the gym and stuff.
Yeah.
So how does that translate to like you performing?
After probably the summer of last year, I just kind of realized how important like my just breath control is. Right. So, and again, like I thought I was at a certain level that I wasn't yet. So it's something I took more seriously. So when I'm at the gym, I used to say I hate cardio, but now I'll do it like 30 minutes, even if I want to like combust. I'll do it, and it's gotten easier. And I've noticed that it's helped me while I'm performing. Right. Like I'm not feeling like my breath is just completely gone. So I feel like your physical health plays a part in how you perform.
For sure.
So, at least for me. So yeah.
What's been your most memorable performance so far outside of the first one?
Yo, trauma. Like trauma. I performed at a community event in Scarborough by Malvern Mall.
Okay.
And it was, I would say that just because one, I've never, like there was like, it wasn't like it was a stage or there were lights. We were outside. Right. So it was this crowd and a mic and some speakers and whatnot. I would say that compared to like another show, just because I don't know, like there was something very like homeish about it.
Okay.
So like I liked usually at the shows I do, like I'm not gonna see young kids or I'm
Right.
not gonna see like somebody's grandmother or like you know. And I just remember performing and there was a whole circle of like grandmothers, like older ladies. And I was just like you know, there's just something like loving about it. So
Right.
I liked it.
Well, that works, right? Because you're the grandmother of remix, right? So, no.
Wow.
No.
Raise my people.
My bad.
This is my folks. So
where'd you say that was? In
Scarborough. Yeah.
Like at the mall or?
Yeah, there's a community center like
okay.
right there. So it was like right in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but like
what? That's dangerous that you start that way. That's dangerous.
No, I was just gonna say like because the audience is more like kids and then like grandmas and stuff.
Yeah.
Or more like family oriented. Did you have to change any lyrics and stuff?
For sure. I had to be like respectful of the songs I chose. Right. But that was okay. Like that was okay. And I knew like I wasn't gonna go up there and because I would say there's a good amount of my music that has some profanity. Like some profanity. But I did 3 of my songs that didn't, so it was cool. It was fun. Okay. Yeah.
See, my question wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I was like, what are you gonna say? It sounds dangerous. See,
I say that a lot, so it's just like I don't know. I probably freak people out when I say that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh.
I want to talk about remix since your class is now finishing up. Mm-hmm. So you're class 18, right?
Yes.
So how has your experience here been in terms of like your development as an artist?
It's been pretty good, to be honest. Like it's brought me out of my comfort zone in like every way possible.
Right.
That being like creatively down to like we were talking about like how my writing process, like down to how I write, how I present my music, how I present myself, like all just taking me out of my comfort zone. So I appreciate it. So it's been good.
Pretty good. Fair enough. What's like been the best piece of advice that you gained being here then?
I would say this would be the best. I would say when I felt like I was experiencing like writer's block. Looking back, like I'm dramatic, but those times I was just like, I've never experienced this. Like, what is this? Like, why? Like, what's going on? Like, it's terrible. And I remember, Rich was like, you can't stop. Like, you have to live to be able to write. So, basically, to say like I can't like sit in the studio for a month and just expect something to come if I don't have a life. Right. You know, and I think that just back to how we were talking about like balance, like that just kind of reinforces that like this is your life and this is what you love and this is your passion, this is what you want to do with your career, etc. But especially the music I write too, like I have a song coming out in February and it's like it's so literal that like I would never have to sit here and be like, what did you think that meant? Like it's so literal. So I think even specifically for me, like I have to live life and have experiences to be inspired. So I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah, that for sure.
You know, it's funny because I remember seeing like an interview with Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
Because like he wrote it and directed it and stuff.
Wait, he wrote Creed?
Not like the original ones.
Oh, like, okay.
He just the third movie he directed and like he wrote a lot of it too. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I know that. That's cool.
And then I think he did like another one in between, but I don't remember the name of it. But anyways, like he said that exact thing that you said, where whenever he's had like writer's block, he would always have to go out and live life because that's where you pull from. Like,
let me find out Rich got that from somebody else.
Maybe they all got it from Rich. Who knows?
Right? Exactly. But it's true though, like
because I've heard Drake say that too. Like he's like, yeah, I'm really in the rap game, so that way I have stuff to like write about and things like that, right? So,
actually, I think I remember what you're talking about, but it's true. like, or even being around like friends and stuff where you could have conversations and pull from their experiences. That's still like living life.
For sure. Yeah, that's another big thing too, because it doesn't even have to be about you.
For sure.
So
for sure. For sure. Inspiration.
Like none of my lyrics that I write are about me. I don't live what I write, so
It's all cap. It's all cap.
All cap, but they make captions, so
Ooh.
It's low key a bar.
I like that one.
Write that one down. Yo. Well, what's the song called that's dropping in February? If you want to say.
I don't know, like, should I say it? It's just the name is just, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't. Okay, I'm just gonna. It's called Boy from Saga.
Boy from Saga?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called
Boy from Saga. That's funny. Was it Party Next Door? Or?
No.
No. Okay.
No. No. But you see what I mean? Like literal. Like I can't do that if I'm not having a life.
Right.
You know?
I hear you. So your song Butterflies is releasing soon.
December 1st.
It'll probably be out by the time you guys are seeing this.
You give me butterflies, you give me butterflies, you give me butterflies.
It's featuring a friend of ours, John Kabongo. Mm-hmm. So, a few questions about it. First, because it's your song, how did you come up with the idea for it?
Honestly, I remember I was in the studio and I kind of had this realization that I don't write a lot of love songs. I don't write a lot of happy love songs. And that's not on purpose. It's just like, it's just happened the way it happened. It's just what it is. But I realized that and I'm like, like I need to try to challenge myself and see, like, what that would sound like. And yeah, I remember I went to the studio and I heard this beat, and this beat was actually from YouTube. What I was hearing, it wasn't like it was super complicated or whatever. Like the chorus is just, you give me butterfly. So yeah, that's just what came to my mind. And I think also because of the situation I was currently in, like it was just natural and it just flowed and yeah, basically. Okay.
Basically. So you have John on there too, like he has a verse. When you first made the song, were you thinking that he was like the right fit for it, or did you kind of just naturally?
Honestly, when I first made the song, I didn't even know John at the time. I didn't know John. I won't even say I ever thought it was gonna have a feature. It's just how it ended up being. Like there was this space, and I'm like, I could really hear. Like it'd be cool if there was a response. Like to me, it just like added another like dynamic to the song. So I'm like, And then I met John in March or April, and that's when I was like, lyrically, like John is probably like one of the best songwriters I've ever met in my life.
So good.
He was in my session here, and I was like, John, like I want to know, like how do you feel about this? Like, kind of pick his brain, see just where he's at, what he thinks about the song, everything, and he just heard it. And like 20 minutes later, there was the verse. And I'm just like,
he is so fast at writing. It's insane.
I'm like, do you just know all these butterfly facts? Like, do you just keep the story? Yeah, like 20 minutes later, he came. And there was a verse. And that was it. That was butterfly.
That's so funny, though.
Crazy.
Honestly, like, you're right about, like, the response, though. Because like the way you set it up and then the way like he slides into it, it's like it's literally like you two are having a conversation.
Yeah,
it's perfect. And then also your vocals, like on the last word of every line that he has. That was so tough.
I be like them butterfly wings, gotta be transparent when I sing. Yeah, butterfly effects and a little text. Love is about the small things.
Which is not usually how I would record a song, but he recorded his verse. And he ended up like tweaking it and changing some certain things, but I did the ad lib like right after his first take, and it is all just blended so well. Like it just meshed really well.
It's a great song. Can't wait for it to release. Well, I'm sure it'll be out by the time you guys are seeing this. Yes.
Butterflies.
But final question for you. I ask every guest this.
I'm scared.
It's a little deep, so you can just You don't have to like go too seriously with it, but either like in terms of you as a person or like as an artist, what you want your impact to be in your career?
I would say that it's okay to like be vulnerable and be expressive. Just because that's something like I tell myself
Right.
that you'll always get like the truth about me through my music before you get it from me.
Right.
But yeah, just that like you heard this song and you spoke to me or you heard whatever song I did or whatever, and you felt comfortable in like expressing yourself and being vulnerable and like you related to it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah, just like to hear it and feel like you're not alone, not by yourself.
So, Jada, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I think we laughed a little too much, but I think it was good. I'll give you a chance to just kind of plug your Spotify and like social media handles and stuff. So you just want to let people know where to follow you.
Okay, so I'm Jada Hope on everything. That's Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, TikTok, Spotify. Everything is I am Jada Hope.
Perfect. So guys, go check out her music.
Butterflies.
New song Butterflies out now. New song coming soon in February. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been the Connecting Careers podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was great.
It was fun.
Awesome.
My mind